Já imaginou como será a cidade onde vive no futuro? Que papel terão a tecnologia e a inovação na melhoria da vida urbana? Ao celebrar 20 anos de atividade, a Porto Digital não quis apenas revisitar o passado. Quis, acima de tudo, lançar um olhar ousado sobre o que está por vir. Nesta série de podcasts, convidamos especialistas nacionais e estrangeiros a refletir sobre os grandes desafios do nosso tempo e sobre o papel transformador que entidades como a Porto Digital podem assumir no desenho das cidades do futuro. Num conjunto de conversas francas e inspiradoras, exploramos ideias, antecipamos tendências e, sobretudo, alimentamos a esperança num amanhã melhor. Junte-se a nós. Vamos celebrar o futuro. Eu sou o Abel Coentrão e neste episódio estarei à conversa com Monique Callisti. Depois de uma fulgurante carreira de investigação nos domínios das tecnologias da comunicação e da inteligência artificial, áreas em que fez 2 doutoramentos, a Monique tornou-se numa empreendedora e lidera a Martell Innovate. Nesta empresa, ela aplica, na verdade, a sua experiência em financiamento de pesquisa e inovação, gestão de projetos, consultoria técnica e estratégica, formação, comunicação também, e desenvolvimento de negócios para soluções de software inovadoras. Especialmente, e isto interessa-nos muito para a nossa conversa, no setor das cidades inteligentes. Fluente em 5 idiomas, poderíamos estar a fazer esta entrevista em portunhol. Ela reside em Zurique, na Suíça, com a sua família. Adora música, e digo isto porque é muito importante, nestes tempos de alguma desafinação, Monique, eu não sei se percebe a palavra em português, de que falaremos também nos próximos minutos. Vamos fazer, em todo caso, esta entrevista em inglês, que é uma língua em que nos entenderemos os dois mais facilmente, certamente. Hello, Monique.
Good afternoon. Boa tarde.
Boa tarde e obrigado por estares aqui connosco.
Obrigada.
Tell us a little bit about your journey between academia and the creation of Martell Innovate. For what I know, that this company, it focuses on supporting innovation and technological development. Did you feel in those days you were a researcher that there were gaps that you could help filling between these two worlds?
Actually, my career started indeed in the academic context. I've been working at University of Bologna and then at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Lausanne. But my research has always been very applied. I've always participated in projects where we had to address very specific, concrete problems in the telecommunication domain mainly. Mm-hmm. But I liked to see that there was a tangible outcome, that the work I was doing, that my research could inject into addressing concrete problems. So maybe it's because of my personality, my way of being, but I needed to feel that there was an impact. But I also realized that in academia, there were some dynamics that I didn't fit my personality, especially because I wanted to move things to be in a more dynamic environment. And at some point, I decided to leave academia after my second PhD. And what I did was to start working in the context of startup and innovation. So I joined a first startup, which was a way for me to put in practice even more what I had done before. And all I did was, in particular, helping developing products for real-world application. But somehow, this first experience was teaching me that, at some point, either you go the way that is, let's say, market-driven, or you go the way in which you say, I want something new. And of course, it's market-driven. You want something new to address societal, economic, tangible problems. But what I wanted, and this is why I then embraced the challenge with Martell, was to participate, to create an innovation culture that would engage humans in doing the innovation, which is always at the center of what we do at Martell. We say what we're doing must empower people and protect the environment. So for us, there is no innovation that should be decoupled by the human factor and by the environment as our most precious resource.
Yeah. And you studied communication technologies and artificial intelligence. If I had to choose two areas that are redefining the world as you know it, I don't know.
I would do it again. I would choose again those two. Of course,
and they are
when I think about
at the core of many of the things
you are
helping.
The point is that I would choose them again because I see how much the society is now moved by technologies that are part of our everyday life. And I think it's important to embrace this transformation. It's important to make sure that no one is left behind, that the digital divide that exists in many ways is somehow addressed. But today, with the experience that I built up, what I think it's also very important is to make sure that technologies do not work alone. We have the tendency to only be technology driven, to provide solutions, but we should stop and step back and understand what are the needs, what are the challenges.
Human driven,
exactly,
with technology helping to fulfill the needs. Yeah. In this podcast, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of an organization you know a little bit about because you work with them, Porto Digital. It puts technology at the service of a city. Explain us what you do at Martell Innovate, particularly in this area, in this field of urban intelligence.
First of all, I must say that for me to have the opportunity to work with Porto Digital was a great opportunity for me and my colleagues because we had the chance to work on real world issues. And what we did in Martell was to collaborate with other cities as well to build an open source platform that is called Orchestra Cities. It's based on open data and open APIs. So the idea is to create a platform that can be used by city municipalities, by service organizations that aim to improve the way in which a city is managed, is regulated, and the way in which the citizens can also contribute to those services. Mm-hmm. So from the very beginning, we did co-creative workshops with the user and city makers.
Oh, wow.
So we tried to engage in the design of this dashboard. It's a dashboard at the end of the day, right?
So
to also engage the users. And this is what I meant before, technologies sometimes forget about the fact that somebody has to use for a given purpose, a given technology.
Its name, Orchestra Cities, it's a beautiful name, by the way. And it brings me this idea that we are in a moment and in a world of divide, no? But the idea of orchestra is the idea of playing something together. I think that the platform has also this sharing capabilities.
Yes.
Each
allows,
city can learn from...
It allows federation also of multiple cities that can work and cooperate and collaborate via the platform. It's about sharing data that can be reused across different applications. And applications can span from smart mobility or air pollution control, so also environmental monitoring. And the idea of orchestration came when we wanted to put the accent on the fact that, to play the old symphony, you need an orchestra. Individual instruments can only achieve a given, can only hit certain tones. And the idea was very much to be able to create something open and collaborative so that different players could be part and be engaged in the deployment and in development of services for the citizens.
Oh, so you're kind of a conductor.
I'm not the director of the
Okay,
orchestra, not always,
Not always.
but I would love.
Yeah, you would love. At Martell Innovate, you help companies to seek European funding for their projects also. Several people in this series of interviews and podcasts, they have already expressed some concern that a large part, we don't know how much of the next European funds will be or could be redirected to the defense industry, and in this strange phase of world geopolitics. Do you fear that, or do you hope?
To be honest, I think we should consider the old frame, the old picture. I mean, if we want Europe to be more independent, more autonomous, more sovereign in many aspects, we also need to stop depending on arms that we buy from the US or others, right? So investing on defense means also to invest in technologies that can help Europe to become more independent also on that front. So there are some predictions that say if we invest more in defense, in technologies that are made in Europe for the defense of Europe, will have a positive effect also at economic level. Of course, one would like that, there is enough budget for healthcare, for education, for many other essential services. So we will see what's going to really happen with the budgets. But clearly, with the war next door, it has become a higher priority, let's say.
In any case, in this strange geopolitical moment, we were talking about orchestra, and when I look at that platform, I think about these words like openness, inclusivity, transparency of data, also respect for privacy, I presume, cooperation. You're talking about this, but I think they don't match up with what we're seeing right now, coming from the United States, for example. They are pressing, for, like in the AI development, for the regulation. So, can you lose some of this?
Well, I think it's a very complex aspect, right? And there's gonna be many geopolitical factors that should be taken into account to have the full picture and to know how things will evolve. Now, I think more than in other periods, it's really unclear what's going to happen. There's a lot of big fires around us. Europe is, I think, defending is democracy, is freedom, is peace in all the ways we can. But still, we are a plurality. So we have also to find ways to align within Europe to make sure that there is a clear union of intent. And I think this is happening, but not always and not enough. So I think that before even in Europe. So I think that before looking at what's going on, on the other side of the Atlantic, we should be more concerned about what's going on in Europe, in several countries. I mean, there are several, let's say, difficult or delicate situations.
But how would you describe the whole picture in the European scene? The regulations that are being discussed and approved, are they going on what do you think it's the right way? On protecting citizen privacy, things like that.
I think there's no other continent where possibly people have the average quality of life that we have in Europe. This is a fact. It is a fact that despite still a lot of inequalities and poverty and gaps that need to be addressed, we can be a very good example for many other regions in the world. Of course, it's a continuous process. And I think the big mistake of Europe should be to stop because we feel we are the ones that do it better. No.
Okay.
I think that the attitude should be we have to continue, evolve and grow on the diversity that characterizes Europe, because we are a continent that embraces so many different cultures and so many different also economies and disciplines and excellence across several industrial sectors. And I think we have to continue build on this diversity and possibly.
I presume in Martell Innovate you work with that diversity, even with the people you have on the company and with people you are doing business with or helping
Yes.
the business to.
Yes.
Can you give examples of?
We work with many different. I mean, our team is about now 57 people. We have 23 different nationalities.
Yeah, that's nice.
We have 50-50 women, men. We work in different languages.
Yeah.
People, are really speaking with each other depending on, what kind of colleague. And the fact that we work within the context of European funded projects is definitely a big plus because we work on a daily basis with different partners, SMEs, public, private institutions from Portugal, from Spain, from France, from Sweden. And there is a diversity also in terms of profiles, in terms of type of organization. So we work with big industrial partners, with small SMEs, with startups, academics, public institutions. So, and we learn a lot. So we try to somehow create an avalanche effect with the know-how that we bring in and that the know-how that we take back from these partners.
Wow. Going back to what we were talking about before, you don't fear, or do you fear that there is any danger of giving up to this pressure to deregulate, the digital services in order to compete with the US mainly? China has its own regulations.
Yeah, well, I think in a way, especially when I think about the situation with the US, it's a little bit too early to say. A lot of things are still not clear.
But the pressure is on.
But the pressure is on.
We saw that reunion about AI some days ago before this interview.
But the pressure is not new. I think that this is already something that has been happening. And therefore, I think that Europe maybe should find a better balance between doing policies and regulations and actually supporting go-to-market kind of initiatives, because I think this is where Europe is lacking behind. We are very good at doing regulations, and a lot of them are very important to protect citizens. On the other hand, they are slowing down. Some of them, at least, they are slowing down the possibility to ramp up, scale up businesses, and we have to find a better balance for that. And this is something that was very clear also in the latest in the Draghi report.
Yeah.
I mean, to be competitive, we have to be bold and follow. Accompany the business that needs support to grow in Europe.
We are talking, it is natural, a little bit about Europe. And one of our interviews, João Barros, now is a member of the board of Carnegie Mellon University in Africa, Kigali. In another interview, he told me that here in Europe, our weaknesses and divisions are very much discussed, but that we can't imagine how much we are admired by many African leaders, entrepreneurs that he knows, for being able to put so many different countries, so many different cultures also, European ones, economies and cultures, under the umbrella of this union we have. Do we have little idea of the value and transformative power of the European Union?
Well, we do, and we believe in it. This is our, we're working
you
with...
at Martell.
Exactly.
Yeah. You believe in it.
So we're strong believers that, the way ahead is to cooperate, collaborate, and not only at the European level, but also at a global level. More and more with digitalization, we realize that, geographical borders can be meaningless. Of course, in Europe, as I said before, we have a lot of strengths, but we have also neglected some important areas like market growth and business support for many of the medium, small players. But it's also a continent where a lot of energy, a lot of resources come then also at national level. We don't have to forget that, there's a lot of national initiatives at member states level that complement the European vision. And I think it's in the combination of these, instruments and supports that we can do better than other regions in the world. And Africa, of course, has suffered from a situation that is not comparable to what.
No, it's not comparable, but they are trying to find their way. And the people that look at Europe this way, they realize that they can only escape from the situation they were put in by organizing themselves regionally, at least, in some kind of union like the European Union. They don't have anything similar. They have some regional institutions, but they don't have the strategic meaning of the European Union.
I think it also relates to the fact that there is a very unstable situation. There's a lot of diversity. Africa is a vast continent.
It's not a country.
There's different, very different approaches, but also very different situations. Half of the countries are still in war.
Yeah.
They are experiencing civil war. So I guess it's much more challenging for them.
In your communication, technological innovation is associated with expressions and words such as better world or the future of children, your children, rather than the idea of making a quick buck with the next unicorn. Okay, I notice a huge amount of hope and belief in the responsible use of these tools, technology. Where does it come from, this energy of yours, which, may I say, seems to me as valuable today as a rare earth mineral, that those ones that are...
Thank you. Well, I'm very grateful for these compliments, but I think it's really a mix of factors. Yeah. First of all, I'm very happy that in the last few years I could found another initiative. So it's a spin-off of Martell. It's called Digital for Planet. It's a non-for-profit association, and we focus in particular on how the digital has to change in order to help addressing environmental challenges. And this is an activity that took off in the last 3 years, and Martell has sponsored and supported this. and I'm now the president of this non-for-profit association, Digital for Planet.
Digital for Planet.
And it's one of my babies, and of course my 3 girls, they give me energy
you do it for her
day.
Also for them.
Absolutely,
Digital for Planet is also for them.
What can I do as an electrical engineer? What is my legacy to this world? Well, I hope that what I'm doing in terms of helping innovation that is helping and empower humans, first of all, is the motto of Martell. But at the same time, our environment is our home. Yeah. And we have to respect the fact that ICT and digital is a big part of the problem, not only of the solution. Yeah. So we have to change the gear, and we have to look at how to do better. We have no planet B option.
And you have gathered people, institutions around Digital for Planet. How is it going?
Actually,
tell me a little bit.
Actually, Digital for Planet has been founded as a non-for-profit association in Switzerland about 3 years ago. A bit earlier actually, but then COVID came, and we sort of got stuck. We were full of enthusiasm, and we had plans to grow the membership, to grow the association. We wanted to go out there and scream, hey, here we are, we're technologists, but we want to work with sociologists, environmental scientists, citizen scientists. And then there was COVID and the follow-up. And so what we thought, at least as a founder, what I thought, what can I do to raise funding for this association to start grow on its own? Well, I thought what I can do the best, which is write proposals and try to get some EU funding, some public funding to grow this association. And this is what happened. Now we have, I think, 12 people on board. We're having some new people joining in the next few months. And among those, we have sustainability experts, scientists.
But do you have associates? A given company or state can...
For now, the only member is the founding member, Martell. Okay. Because, as I said, we didn't have time to grow the association.
But that's the intention.
The intention is, yes, to grow it and to get more and more traction.
And institutions, organizations,
yes,
let's say. Okay. Digital for Planet.
Yes.
That's a good goal for living. And I presume it makes people smile. So, as you see, it was not difficult. We could have done it in Portuguese, as we said. Thank you, Monique.
Muito obrigada.
For sharing your energy and hope with us. A reflexão sobre o futuro da cidade prossegue com outros convidados. E já sabe, pode encontrar todos os episódios deste podcast no site da Porto Digital e nas habituais plataformas de streaming. Acompanhe-nos. Let's celebrate the future.